Everybody, Nick here, and today I want to do a review for you of this little guy right here. This is the Citizen Promaster BN-0191 Dive Watch, and it's a really interesting little model. It's actually brand new. This was just released by Citizen over the summer of 2017, and it is an interesting and new kind of in the line of Citizen divers, someplace in between the Signature Diver, which I've reviewed previously, and their previous Promasters. So, first off, though, let's do a little size comparison. Right here is a Citizen BN-0180, which is a really great watch. Right here is a Casio F108 and an F91W. So you can see here that this is not a small watch, but it's also not oh my god huge. And here is a watch that is kind of oh my god huge. This is the Omega Planet Ocean here, which is a much bigger watch, a little bit thicker too, a little bulkier, but and a lot more mechanical. Nonetheless, there's your size comparison. So, with that said, I've got it on the NATO strap right now because that's easy for review to just keep it set down flat, but it does come on a bracelet and whatnot. But anyways, let's just go ahead and jump into the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly of this particular timepiece. So on the good side, first off, this guy does come in a very nice case. That's kind of neither here nor there. Here, I'll tilt this up for a second. It's kind of neither here nor there, but it comes with like a little Pelican-style sort of affair, complete with lots of padding and whatnot. The watch will absolutely be safe during your time with it, and it's cool to see a presentation case out of Citizen. I mean, oftentimes their presentation's a little bit dressed down, and so it's nice to see that. So there you go. Next thing, this guy has a very nice movement to it. This is a solar-powered quartz watch. I mean, you can see it's quartz by the ticking and whatnot, but it is solar-powered, which means that you just leave it on the windowsill and you're good to go for many years. It has a quick set date on there, which makes it a little bit easier if you fall behind for whatever reason, 30-day month or something. It has a 6-month power reserve, which is great, and the accuracy on this movement is excellent. I'm showing about 0.1 seconds per day fast, which is, you know, quite good. No complaints there with the accuracy. And so on the whole, I like this movement very much. It's another good Citizen Eco Drive movement, and that's a beautiful thing. Next thing is, I love this dial here. It is a very nice blue color. It's a little hard to see in this kind of interior lighting here, but it is definitely there, and I'll try and put a little light on the subject here. But the light plays with it in a very nice way. You can see here as I shine this light around that the light has a little bit of there's sort of a turn pattern in there, and then coupled with this little recess in there with a little bit of extra texturing, it's just got enough interest going on. One other thing that I'll highlight is that the lume is surrounded here by polished metal. If you compare that to, for instance, the BM-8180 here, where it's just kind of paint on the dial, having the lume inside this metal not only allows them, I think, to put it a little thicker, but also just makes it a little bit prettier on the whole. And so the watch looks great as a result. That really ups the jewelry sort of look to this guy a little bit. That's good. Next thing, this is the blue model, but they have other color options that are coming down the road, which is great. A big fan of that. That's good. Next thing, the case on the watch itself is very nice. I mean, look, you've got nice contrast here between brushed and polished, and then on the back of the case, you've got a nice little back to it. Yep. Hold on, pop this up. With some nice printing, good informational. Heck, I'll just take off the strap here. And so, you know, it's a very nice little case. It's not jewelry finished. It's not, oh my god, they've put so much effort into it. But you know what? It's fine. It's good to go. And it comes with some other nice features, like a great diver's bezel here on the case. We can just kind of rotate this. And it is unidirectional, just like you'd want a diver's bezel to be. And these are a really handy little thing, at least for me. I will use them regularly to time boring little everyday things, whether it's the duration of a flight, the time until I need to go pick up the pizza, whatever. These diver's bezels are a really handy thing, even if you're not diving. So that's good. And, you know, overall, it's got some other nice little features. It's got a nice little crown guard here, which means that if you hit this watch up against something, like a door frame or something, it's not going to hit the crown full on. It's just going to bounce right off, and you'll get a glancing blow at worst. And so that's very good. Next thing, 200 meters of water resist on this guy, which is absolutely good to go. Come on, where's that listed? Right here. Dive is 200 meters. 200 meters is the kind of water resistance that is all you will ever really need. need. Even if you are a scuba diver, this will have more than enough water resistance for you, which is absolutely very, very nice and is something I appreciate very much. Next thing, the bracelet on this guy is fine. It's not incredible, but it is good to go. It uses push-out, like pin and collar sorts of links, which is not incredible, but it adjusts nicely. It's reasonably pliant and comfortable. It doesn't pinch hairs. It's got the polished mid-links, which some people like. I particularly don't. And the clasp is absolutely secure, relying on both this little fold over here as well as this little pop-out. And so, you know, the bracelet is absolutely good to go. One other thing I'll highlight is that you get the 3 quick adjust sorts of pins here. You still need to have a pin pusher tool, but you can really adjust this to fit swelling of your wrist a little more easily than some watches where you have to take links out and whatnot. So the bracelet on it is good. And then finally, on the good side, the price. This is $200, $250 right now. This is mostly being bought, unfortunately, and we'll talk about this later, through gray market sorts of situations because they're not officially released in the U.S. yet. But for now, the prices are pretty damn good. Considering you're getting all the functionality of some really high-end pieces for, well, much lower the price, that's not bad at all. So to me, at least, that's the good. The price is very good. The bracelet on this guy is surprisingly good. It's got 200 meters of water resistance, which is all you're ever going to need in terms of water resistance. It has a great diver's bezel, a very nice case, with some nice finishing sorts of things. There are going to be a couple of different color options coming. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's not just going to be blue. And there's a nice blue dial on this guy, nice movement, and it comes in a great case. Let's talk about what's great here. To me, what is absolutely great about this watch is the lume. I am 100% a lume snob. I like wearing a watch at night so I can look up very quickly, see what time it is, then go right back to sleep. And I'll charge the lume off screen here, and basically, this lume is holy crap good. I mean, seriously, look at it. Not only is the lume very strong, very thickly painted on there, it's available on every single hour pip, including the one with the date window there. You have a lumed pip for the diving itself, and the hands are beautifully legible even overnight. And this is partly due to the nice metal surrounds there. These are just, it's beautifully readable all night long. And with the thickness of application, you have zero concern about it fading too far away. The lume on this is just almost as good as the Planet Ocean here, which is a much more expensive watch for a way, way, way smaller amount of the price. So the great thing to me about this watch 100% is that lume. They've done an incredible job there. Let's talk about what's bad. Okay, so on the bad side, first off, something that's not a problem at all to me, but maybe a problem to some, is that this has no diver's extension. On a lot of watch bracelets like this guy, there is an area that you can pop out and get basically an extra inch worth of extension to fit over your wetsuit if you are actually diving. Citizen has decided in this dive watch not to include one and to instead give us some extra quick adjust holes. Personally, I think this is great. Very few people need a diver's extension. Everybody needs quick adjust holes. So I appreciate them going that route. That said, these quick adjust holes are, they require the use of a tool. You need some kind of a spring bar tool to press this in so you can shift the whole thing forward and back. I much prefer a toolless sort of quick adjust like you see on this Omega where you push in, pop out. Look, a lot of major rankers, Rolex, Omega, Tudor, all have these toolless systems. Citizen needs one too. Because once you have that, you will never want to give it up. It is a great revolution for bracelet comfort. But, I'm maybe being a little unrealistic asking for that at this price point. There are a couple of other things I'm going to be unrealistic about at this price point. I'd like to see an independent hour hand, where you can adjust the hour hand without changing the minutes or seconds. You keep your accuracy, but you can move forward and back. This is great for changing time zones, for instance, during travel. It's great for daylight savings time, and it even functions as a quick adjust for the date, because all you need to do is spin like a couple of turns and you're on to the next day anyways. I love independent hour hand features, and I want to see it applied more. They've got it on their higher end model, but it needs to trickle down here. Next thing that, again, I'm probably maybe being unrealistic here, but I'm tired of pin-based bracelets. Citizen can do screw-down links, like you get here. It's, again, not a Citizen, but they haven't here, and that's ugly to me. I hate pin systems. They were just a pain in the neck. Screws are just way better. Speaking of things that I'm not super realistic in asking for, this is using a mineral crystal. At the current price point, if you're paying like $200, I can live with mineral crystal. But if you keep going up in the range, that's going to be getting pretty disappointing. I'm a big fan of sapphire. It is much more scratch resistant, and it tends to wear a little bit better over time. It's not the end of any worlds, but again, if they're creeping the manufacturer and price up there as they release this in the States, that's something I'll be disappointed with. Now moving into realistic issues, I'm not a big fan of polished mid-links here. On the bracelet, you can see that this area is brushed, this area is brushed, and this area is brushed, but these central portions here, they are entirely polished, and honestly, that's not great. Because, well, okay, that's a matter of taste, but at least to me, this is a tool watch. And so all that these little things are going to do is show scratches, basically. You're not going to be getting boardroom prestige off of them or anything like that, and so tool watches with polished mid-links end up looking a little weird to me. Then, finally, it is a bit big and it's a bit thick. I know that right now the trend in watchmaking is huge, that regularly sized watches are considered tiny and everyone hates them. Don't get me wrong, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I wear this thing every day and it is way bigger and way thicker than this little guy can be. But the thing is, what's hilarious to me is that the iconic diver, the Rolex Submariner, is now considered to be smaller than the norm. And this watch, in the same size as a Rolex Submariner, and by the way, I should do some measurements. I forgot to do that earlier. But measurement-wise, looks like we are about 48 millimeters lug to lug. And if we measure across the thing here from crown to the other side, no, again, about 48. But anyways, if this were the size of a Rolex Sub, it would be a hit out of the park. But unfortunately, it's been hit by the magical watch inflation ray, which makes it a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier than I'd really like it to be. And that, to me, is at least sad. So, all of that combined is the bad. It's a little bigger and thicker than I'd like it to be. This would be much more compelling, a little bit shrunk down. It's using a mineral crystal, which I'm not in love with. It's using polished mid-links, which I'm not in love with. And I really hope that at some point in the future, Citizen moves away from pin-based adjustments, gives me an independent hour hand, gives me a tool-less quick adjust here, and then if you are a diver, you might miss that extension. But the rest of us, we won't. Let's talk about what's ugly. So on the ugly side, unfortunately, this guy is hard to buy in the US at the moment. This is a relatively new release. It's October 2017 now, and this released sometime during the summer. But the thing is, Citizen has an unfortunate habit of making their good stuff available overseas before anywhere else. They're based in Japan, and so it all starts there. And so the unfortunate thing is that right now, in October, you are limited to buying at gray market sites, and that's really kind of crappy, because it means you can't walk into your local AD to pick one up, and you can't support your local AD by buying one there. And so you're buying from weird importers online, and given you get a good deal, but still, that sucks. And I really wish Citizen were more straightforward, making their work orderable worldwide. I want to give Citizen money. I want to give my local Citizen distributor money, but they won't let me, and that's just awful. So, to me at least, that's what's ugly here, is that this watch is very clearly available, but it's not available well, and Citizen is just not very good at distributing their products in that way. So let's go into the final conclusion here. Final conclusion, this is one of the very best inexpensive dive watches out there, particularly if you want all the many advantages that having a quartz movement does bring you, and there are lots in terms of durability, power reserve, etc. Quartz can be a wonderful thing, and this is a great way to get quartz in a diver. And frankly, I think it's a pretty darn good choice for an everyday watch too. Many people wear dive watches that aren't divers, myself included, because this is durable enough to deal with your everyday hard knocks. This can hit a doorknob with no concern. It's accurate enough that you don't even have to think about accuracy. You don't have to charge it or wind it. Just leave it on the windowsill every so often, or just wear it outside and you're good to go. It is legible all day and all night, and you will pay less for this than you would pay to even service this fancy Omega over here. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are solid alternatives to this guy as well. The Casio Duro is another cheap dive watch that, well, this isn't cheap, but it's a cheap dive watch. It's like $40 or so, but it has terrible lume, and it's not well finished and whatnot. Nice watch, but this really outclasses it there. If you want another diver in the price range, the Seiko Turtle is a great choice. It's about the same price. It is mechanical, so you're going to pay a price in terms of accuracy, and you need to wear it more regularly. And it's got a pretty awful bracelet, but it is, in terms of the watch itself, a pretty stellar watch with great lume and serious dive cred. You can check out my review of that guy. And then, of course, you can always pay 30 times more and move on up to your Omega Planet Ocean here. This is a mechanical watch that is just as accurate as this guy, which is really astounding. It has a much better bracelet in a variety of ways, and better finishing and whatnot, but let's be real here. You are getting 95% of the performance of your Omega here for like 3% of the price. And so I wear this every day, but I can freely acknowledge that I got to be a little bit nuts to choose this guy over this one. And then finally, the Citizen Signature Perpetual Diver is a similar size, but with a perpetual calendar, slightly better accuracy, independent hour hand, sapphire, and then much nicer case and bracelet finishing. The Perpetual Diver just feels more like jewelry, and the movement is just a lot more interesting. You will pay more for it new, absolutely, but you can find one used usually around the same price range as this guy. And if you watch my review, that was a really solid gem too. And personally, this is where I would go to the Citizen Signature. I think that is a nice step up and brings you into the, this is as good a watch as you could need sort of territory. But I'm insane, so I wear this instead. But look, like I said, the Promaster Diver is a powerhouse of functionality. You're getting a lot of dive cred, a lot of lume, a great movement, a pretty compelling case, and a price tag that's less than the tax you'd pay on something like this. And it's just absolutely great. And so I have absolutely no problem calling this particular watch right here a gem. I think it is great, and you're going to enjoy it. And it's another great solution for dive watches, especially in the quartz world. So if you're contemplating this diver, I think that you should absolutely take the plunge. Hope this has been interesting to you, that you had a good time, and that you have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.